Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here on the Hagenstedt map. Let's get back to reliving the glory days. Well, there's an easier way to do that. If I drop you into there, I wanted to just hitch this one on so that I could dump out the stuff that's in it. How do we do that? There, right. I've dumped out the stuff that's in it. And then I want to go here like this. And I want to go and I want to press escape like that. And then I want to click on this one. And I want to reset that one down to the shop. Okay. And then I want to reset that one down to the shop now that it's got nothing in it. Like that. And then I can go down to here. Get that Amazon on. So we got $80,000 right there. I'm going to hitch that one on there. And I'm going to back it over here. And I'm going to dump it in there like that. I'm going to sell it now that it's down here. Which is going to get us a total of $1,919. Repair it for $6,1927. So we made an extra $2 by repairing it. Sell that bad boy right there, and then go into the shop, and go to you, go to Fertilizer Technology. That one right there has got a 24-meter spread on it. This Kverneland over here is also a 24-meter spread. There's 3,200. That one is 3,900 liters. It doesn't actually matter in the slightest what capacity I use for them, because I have the hired help purchasing for me. That Bredel right there, that's a 24-meter spread as well. I was looking for one that had a 36-meter spread. That would have been better. That's got 12. Why is that only 12? So what was that one? You were 18 meters. It was not that much of an upgrade then. Right, well, I'll buy that one. He's got a 24-meter spread on him rather than 18 meters, so he is a bit better. We've got an extra 6 meters per pass. We will dump a little bit of fertilizer into it, and then we can... Actually, I'll fill the thing right up, because I do manually do some little bits with it. So I'll drop you onto there. We'll run you back up to the farm, and I will... Just wondering. I'm going to... fast forward time like this. I'm coming through. I'm faster than you. Let me come through. I am much faster than you with my racing tractor. Look at this thing. I like the way the driver swings side to side inside it when you're whizzing along like this. I'm hoping also that if I fast forward time enough, we will be able to... Oh, wait, no. I want to go over there. So I've got the front weight that I want to pick up. Bring that round there like that, and then I want to come over next to this one and pick up that 600 liters right there. There we go. And then I'll go back over this way. And there. Okay, not there. Where do I go to load this thing up? Do I need to take the cover off? Maybe I needed to take the cover off first. Right, I'm going to fill that one right up. There. 3,700. Then I'm going to go along here, and I'm going to do a pass along this bottom end. So I will go to there, and... there. See how much he had, like, how much of a step in from the outside edge he had right there on that bit? It was quite a long way in there. And you will go to, like, that-ish, and then I'll bring you back over this way a bit here, I think. And let's try that somewhere there. Helper G has completed their task. Now they're away. And that will run you up across the field. Right, we haven't had another growth stage yet. It's 7 o'clock in the evening. So I'm going to let that one just carry on doing what it's doing. I know what I wanted to do. Let's go up here. Start landscaping. Yeah, you haven't changed. I didn't think it would have. In which case, if I leave you running there, we'll leave you sort of doing an overnighter. And if I jump over to here, are we ready to skip the night yet? Because it's not going to hurt that one to skip the night where it is. Yes, we can skip the night. So if I go here, I don't want to do 14 hours. I'll bring that down with 7 o'clock. So if I do 12 hours, we go to 7 a.m. and then we can run it up to. It should. We'll have it. Excuse me. We'll have had a growth stage down there, and we should have had a growth stage up the top as well. Oh, we now have a thick crop of beans in the field. Fertilizer is coming along quite nicely, but we're not going to be able. I don't want to be going straight into harvest. I want to make sure that we sort of sync them up. So I won't be harvesting until all of it is ready to harvest at the same time. Well, I might actually start in there, but keep the time fast forwarding so that it moves on to the next one, and then everything will be ready in there. So he's going to have one more pass up across here, and then we can disappear up to the top field. Go and do that, which means that as soon as he's finished here, I can start fast-forwarding the time a little bit. Go on. And do that last pass. There we go. I can start fast-forwarding the time a little bit just to allow it to jump forward one more growth stage, because you are in the final growth stage on this one, and you're in stage 3 down there. I think that's how it is. Looks like it. Looking at the dark green there compared to the green here, that does seem to be about right. Yeah, so anyway, that's the final stage right there. So we'll be able to get the combine out. So I'll tell you what, we can also go to the combine here, get that one hooked onto the standard header right there, and then that one's going to be ready for doing a bit of combining. That one has. Let's just leave you there a second and go to you, fire you up. Time can start ticking by a bit faster. Racing up round here. So a second combine first, followed by the new field that we want over there. I think that's the order we're going to do it in. The second combine, well, actually, I'm still kind of torn on this. Like, now that I've got the nice big corn header, I'm not sure that I need to rush into the second combine just yet. Maybe I should buy the land first. I'm genuinely torn between which one I should go for. Genuinely torn. Let's bring you over there and start you running. See, I got one strip of grain in this field that is not going to have enough fertilizer if I just leave the time ticking through for too long. I've got one little tiny strip all the way up through there, which I didn't notice before. I haven't got it anywhere else on that field. So if it does come ripe, it just means that that little tiny strip there has only got one round of fertilizer, whereas all the rest of it will have 2. So we will leave it ticking over at 2 times speed. 120 times speed. Look at the money ticking down with the way the fertilizer is being used up. It really does absorb the money. I know I got 3,200 litres of fertilizer up there. You know, we could change that. We could actually change that just for a minute. Fertilizer, turn that off there. So now it's actually using the fertilizer in the machine. Turn round over here just as you're turning round and use up a bit of that. We can use up half of this. How fast is it going to use it? I think it uses it. I think it costs more to have... well, there's no doubt that it costs more to have the hired help just automatically buying it, because it's also sort of factoring in the running costs and everything else, and it's an incentive for you to just use your own fertilizer. So we'll leave that one switched off just for a bit. There's no tearing hurry for us to keep that going like it is. And you, our Nova 330... that one is all unfolded, ready to roll. I will bring you over here. I will do that. We will have it going around the outside edge of the field. We will do that. Bring it up to here. It is ready to start harvesting the beans in this field right here, which means that I want this tractor here. I'm going to bring this one over. I'm going to put this one onto those trailers. I'm going to bring the trailers over, although to be honest, we will be using our other tractor for doing this. And then these will go back to doing their usual cultivating work. You know, it would help if I actually hitched the trailers on. Make life a little bit easier for us if we had them on there like that. There we go. And we drag these through here like this. So we have had our growth stage. That one's away. Now I go here and I look at this. So this one here is not grown yet. There is a little bit at that top end that's grown. So I will leave the time ticking away, just as it is. And start you up like that. On, off you go. You're too far away from the field, aren't you? Let's bring you in a little bit closer and try that again. Yeah, that's better. That you can cope with. It was just a little tiny bit too far away to start with. It didn't like it. So there's maximum yield in there, or it should be. And then, as we'll be planting corn for our next one, we'll finally get to test whether or not the periodic ploughing does affect the need to plough after corn. Which I think that it does, but other people have said no, it doesn't. It doesn't make any difference to that. You've got that wrong. We will find out. We will finally have our question answered. Because at the moment, I'm saying that there's an option here for turning off the periodic ploughing. Whether or not you need to plough your fields periodically to keep yield high, I've got it switched off. In FS17, periodic ploughing meant that you had to plough after every third crop. I'm saying that in this game, they changed it so periodic ploughing means that you've only got to plough after you've done corn, sugarcane, or one of the root crops. But some people are saying, no, you've got to do that anyway, regardless of whether or not you've got the periodic ploughing turned on or off. What the periodic ploughing option is still talking about ploughing every third crop. Right, if I slow time down there a second, it's 5 o'clock in the evening. I'm going to just let this one finish coming up through here, and as soon as it's done that, we will fast forward again until morning. So the combine is just going to keep going. It's going to pull an all-nighter. We're going to skip the night, and then we will be able to start fresh at the beginning of the day with combine, crop, everything all laid out on the ground in front of us, and we can get a move on and start doing things. The combine will just keep plodding onwards, and this is why I think 2 combines is better than 1. Right? Because the amount of time it takes us to do our harvest at the moment is already fairly high. If I go buy the land first, it's going to take a very long time to be doing our harvest while we're waiting for, as we're sort of building up the money to go buying the second combine if we buy the extra land first. So combine first, then land. That's what we want. So we need another $100,000 and we'll be able to buy our second combine, which I think is within our price range already. Let's get you. You're down to 2,700 litres. I will fast forward time like this. We've just had potatoes planted in that field right there. And I will fast forward until just past 7 o'clock, and then we will grab a bit of shut-eye while our hired helps, our workers, they're going to stay working in the field. The combine is going to keep going. And then we can sort of see them in the morning. We'll give them a stipend for working overnight. And, just to make sure that they're quite happy with doing that. And they will be happy to go and do it again. So we're quite happy to offer them just that little bit extra there. Just to keep them happy. And I want to bring you back over here and lower you down and unhitch you like that. Out comes our tractor like this. I'm going to stop you there. I will probably swap these tractors over in a minute. You keep going. Oops, that's the one that I want to go to. And I will run on round here. And I'll do the same as I did last night. I will have 12 hours sleep. There. See that combine working through the night? To be honest with you, he hasn't done a great deal working through the night here. And now it's started raining. Helper G has completed their task because it's just started raining. I didn't think that through, did I? I did not think that through. That combine can't do anything at the moment because it is hoofing it down with rain. There is nothing sadder than a combine in the rain. Right, well, that's just going to have to sit there. I'm going to unhitch this one here a second, and this tractor can go away in the shed. Actually, I'll get a cultivator on you so that you're ready to start cultivating the field over here. I've got a tractor there lined up with a cultivator already. I will bring you back in. What is the price of beans? I haven't checked the price of beans, but we'll do that. You're ready to roll right there. I've got time fast forwarding. It's going along pretty quick. We don't have crop withering on, fortunately, which means that it's gotten to full ripeness and it will go no further for a minute. Beans. Transport company is selling beans at 2,946. That is absolutely spot on perfect. We will not get a better price than that. Well, you're marginally. All we gotta hope is that the rain stops before the price drops. Is the rain gonna stop before that price starts coming down? I really hope that it does. Let's get this trailer hooked on. Fortunately, this game is not. You don't have the restriction that you have with seasons. With seasons, if it rains, that's it. You've got to then wait for the crop to dry out, as you would in real life. But with the standard game, you don't have to do that. You've only got to do that if it happens while it's raining. Now, is there a forecast thing somewhere? Is there actually anywhere that tells me what the future forecast will be? There isn't, is there? All I can do is just wait for it to go. It says that it was gonna be cloudy next, but it's not telling me anything else. Still 2,946 on there. The ranch is coming up that price, but as long as that one stays the same, that's good. It's been raining since 6 o'clock this morning. I don't mind this rain stopping. At last, 3 o'clock. It looks like it's just now stopping. It's just coming to the end of it now. Officially, it doesn't seem to be stopped just yet. The transport company price miraculously is held on at 2,946. So we will be selling straight off the field with this one. We'll be running it round with the Fendt. We can run all the way down there without too much trouble. The last of the rain is just kind of pulling off now. So let's get that to 4 o'clock there like that. And that slowed everything down. 2,946 still. Let's start you up. And it works. We don't have to wait for it to dry out. We are going to be able to get the decent price. That's fantastic. I don't care if it's not realistic getting started straight away after the torrential downpour that we've just had. That is fine. We had to sit there staring at a combine in the rain for ages. That is the saddest sight. Actually, it's not quite the saddest sight. I don't know if you've ever seen an old film called The 2,000 Mile Harvest. It's basically a documentary where they follow combining happening the harvest season right up across the middle of the US. There was a follow-up one done. The original one was in the 90s, I think. And then there was a follow-up one, or if it wasn't, it was the very early 2000s. And then there was another one done later on where it was a different couple of crews that they followed the second time round, but they still showed you basically what happens with the entire harvest, following it all the way up through. And these people, they get in a combine, they sit in it for 6 months. They combine it for 6 months. They work their way up across the states, following all the different crops and stuff. And it does look like a fantastic thing to go and do. It's something that I always used to want to do. It was a particular dream of mine for a time. It's not something I want to do now. It would require 6 months away from my family. It's no longer something that I wish to do. But when I was younger, it was something that I would have liked to have tried. I always felt, though, that it would, because you don't sort of make arrangements to go and drive a combine. You make arrangements to go there and learn, and then you get assigned the jobs. And I always sort of felt that it would be really, really horrible and appalling if I'd gone all that way in order to be able to spend 6 months driving a combine, and they decided, actually, we want you to be spending your 6 months driving one of the trucks up and down the road, ferrying grain to various grain mills, which I doubt they would have, because I can't find my way out of a wet paper bag. I'm useless with the directions, so that would have been in my favour, I think. Or put me on a grain cart. And I wouldn't have gotten to drive the combine. That was my deepest fear with the whole thing. That never actually happened. It never actually occurred. I never actually went to go and do this. But that was sort of a concern I had about the whole situation, was that if I went and did it, I'd end up not driving the combine for the time that I was there. I'd be doing the grain carting instead, which I would have hated. I've done plenty of grain. I've done that before. I've done lots of that. It was to drive combines that I wanted to go and do it. But anyway, it never actually happened, and I know me. And I know for a fact that if I'd gone all the way to the US and I'd gone and gotten training and everything, and then it had finally happened and they'd turned around and said, no, we want you on the grain cart, I would have just gone and packed up my bags and left. That would have been it. There's no way I would stay there on the off chance that I might get a chance to have gone back and done it. And yeah, there are some people who would say, well, that's a really sort of selfish way of looking at it. You know, you're part of a team. No, yeah, I might be part of a team, but if you fly 4,000 miles and undergo a load of training in order to follow a particular dream, and then at the last minute someone says, you know what, I don't care about your dream in the slightest, I want you doing this just because I think you'd be slightly better at that than someone else. No, I'm sorry, I'm not interested, mate. I didn't fly 4,000 miles to go driving a tractor around a field. I can do that 2 miles up the road from where I live. I have absolutely no interest in that whatsoever. So I would have, without apology, just packed up my bags and left. And that would have been the end of it. And I did read about someone who actually did that. They said, no, we think you'd be better on the grain cart. You seem to be a more experienced operator and it would be really good and yada, yada, yada. So he said, I didn't come all this way to do this, packed up his bags and was walking out. And the person who ran the contracting company said, okay, we'll put you on the combine then. I'd like to keep you here. I don't want to have to train someone else. And he did manage to get it, but obviously the bloke said, in all honesty, he wasn't doing it to try and call a bluff or anything like that. He wasn't bluffing. It was nothing like that. He wasn't trying to do it to blackmail his way into it. He didn't fly all that distance, didn't travel all that distance in order to spend a summer sitting in a tractor. He did it to go and drive the combine, to experience doing the combining. And yeah, so it wasn't going to stay around and watch basically a whole crew of people living out his dream whilst he was right next to it but being told, no, too bad, it's not happening for you. He was not in the least bit interested in doing that. That was not something that he was there to do. So yeah, he was all prepared to walk out. And fortunately, they did let him drive the combines for the summer. And he said it was absolutely wonderful. He didn't regret going there for a moment. And it was something that I wanted to look at. I have looked at it since, but honestly, I don't think that I would want to do it anymore. It's it would be too long away from my family. It's not something that I would really want to get involved with. But if you ever get a chance, watch that video. Watch the 2,000 mile harvest. It is quite dated now, but it's quite an insight into what goes on with it. But there is a line in there. I did have a point with this somewhere. We were talking about combines. The saddest thing you'll ever see is combine in the rain. And there is a line in there. They're getting towards the end of the harvest, and they're right up in Canada. And they actually do show the saddest sight in existence. And that is a half-cut field. It's a half-harvested field, and it's combines in the snow. And I'd have to agree that probably is. It looked like very wet snow as well. It didn't look very good. And there you had combines in the snow, unable to do anything. Everything was too wet. They couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't do anything. And these combines were just sat there in the snow, unable to go anywhere, unable to harvest. And yeah, turns out that a combine in the rain in the field is not the saddest sight you'll ever see. Combine in the snow is the saddest sight you'll ever see. So there you go, there's something you've learned today. There are things that are even sadder than combines in rain. I'm going to bring that one out to there like that. So we've done twice round, 3 times round the fields for most of it. So I'm just going to bring you over here. And I'm going to go with this option that I've been using, not the straight up and down, because that follows the exact edge of the crop. Whereas if I use this option, which is straight like a worker, it actually will go straight up and down the edge of the field like a worker would, and keep the line straight, although it does tend to correct a bit to start with when you first set it going. The rest of it, it should stay straight like a worker all the way through. I'm hoping it will gather. You know what? I'm going to just bring that back over a little bit, like that. I think there's certain, like it does seem to struggle with... There. I don't want you to do that. I want you to go here. Right? I want you to do a half width, and I want you to work like I've got setting straight like a worker. Like normal worker, there. But he doesn't like that. He's cutting in slightly on that one, which is a little bit weird. We try it here. What's he going to do there? See, now he's keeping it straight, but he is going with the full width on there. Alright, you know what? We won't argue with it too much. We'll let that one run through there. And I'm just going to bring you over here and unload that little bit of grain that is on that trailer. So we're going to get, by the look of it, from what we've done so far, it's going to be similar to the sunflower yields. Not quite as much. Yields seem to be sort of... It's... The actual volume that you get is directly related to the price off of the field. So for sunflowers, well, all of them, you seem to get roughly the same amount of money per hectare for each of the crops. But that's only if you include the straw as well. So for the wheat, barley and oats, you do also need to sell the straw. You get marginally more for them if you go and sell the straw, and you get a little bit less money for those 3 crops if you don't bother processing and selling the straw. So you lose out if you don't do anything with the straw, and you do end up with slightly less money. Other than that, all of the crops, so long as you get a good price for each of them, you do end up with roughly the same amount of money per hectare. Overall. So we had on that last crop with the sunflowers, we've ended up with roughly $110,000. So I'm assuming that we're going to get roughly $110,000 for this round as well. That's great. $110,000 will do us very nicely. It means that we can... that's going to take us up to just over $150,000. Which is enough to go and buy our new combine. So we'll be able to go and get another one of those, and we'll pop into here, and we will get a Power Stream 500, which is $32,000, which puts up to $137,000. You over there are $45,000. And now I didn't want to lease anything, but that doesn't mean that is absolutely set in stone. So I may consider leasing a corn header, or I could just go and buy a combine and buy a corn header to go with it. If I was to do that, combine and corn header, don't lease anything, then we harvest the corn, sell the corn. I think we've relived enough glory days just for a moment. We're going to take a breather, we're going to have a little bite to eat, and then we can get back to it nice and refreshed and relive a few more glory days. There should be some names coming up right now that you can have a look at. It's names of people who are in the Great Book of Names, people who have supported this channel, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.